This watching this video, and it kind of makes me think, how much mercy should we have on the unbelievers and the arrogant which trust in the system and money? And I kind of felt sorry for this sister when I was watching the video, but god damn, I mean, do you have to be knocked over the head to see that this system is done and it's falling and it's ran by thieves, cutthroats, and murderers for you to wake up, turn to God, or even just know that you're walking and living and sleeping and eating in evil? God damn, no one should be this stupid. Yeah, money. I often mention that money is going to be a major factor in the true measures of the character of your friends, family, coworkers, just people in general. Money is God in America, and no one can get around that. At least in my mind. I'm not saying that applies to everybody, but money is God. And people trust in the money so much they forget God. But check this out. I'm not going to be very long. I got to put something out on my lunch break. Check this out.
I go, bro, you have this shit on record. I am tired, bro. That's it. I'm tired. I'm fucking tired, bro. I just tried to go donate plasma, but because I just found out I'm homeless because I've been living in a motel for the past year and a half. But because I can't fucking donate. So even the hundred.
She's crashing the hell out. And trust me, brothers and sisters, there are a lot of women out there that are crashing out like this. A lot of sisters are going to be selling their behinds if they're not already doing that. And I hate to be so vulgar if you want to take it that way, but this is the real world. You can't look at people like they're good people. Not today. Because in life, you can choose either God or you can choose the devil. And most people are going to crash out and choose the devil, man. I mean, look at her. She is totally losing it. Totally losing it. And I see it every day. I see the despair and the throwing up of the hands spiritually on the job and in my travels. People are broken, man. They are broken. Even us who are in the faith, who walk in the faith, the daily routine. You get up in the morning, you make some coffee, you make some tea, you fry some eggs or whatever the hell you eat, make some oatmeal, whatever the hell do. You go to work, you work your ass off, you deal with a-holes, you come back home and you repeat the same thing again. Repeat the same thing again. If you're married and your marriage don't have God in it, that's a drag. That's a drag. If your family members, they don't have the spirit of God in them, that's a drag. And it's just the same routine over and over. But imagine that routine. Imagine getting up every day, doing the same BS every day and feeling damn depressed to the point you want to kill yourselves. And you don't have God in your life. And you're broke. At least your secondary God, the one you love and the one that you worship, at least that one you have in your right pocket, meaning money in this system. But the Most High has it so bad in the system. He has it so bad that you can't see God after a while when you dig into the system. When you live in the system so hardcore, so hard body, you can't even see the Most High after a while. You don't see the Most High after a while. So what happens? You crash out like this sister's crashing out. I mean, this is sad. And, I'm hard on the sisters, but I'm fair. And I understand where our Lord said, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. He said, forgive them, Lord, these wicked, savage, beastly ninja Israelites who not only gave me over to the leadership in the Romans, who not only spat on me, who threw things at me and insulted me and said all types of lies and derogatory things toward me Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And so you kind of have to feel bad for the sisters, as wicked and evil as they are, as proud as they are. You got to feel bad for them. You got to feel bad for these wicked animal ninja brothers, even though they walk like damn animals, man. Like pit bulls without a leash. That's how our people are today, man. Pit bulls without a leash. But, you know, when you get a chance, check out this brother. This is a Red Pill brother. This is his page, Average Man Unplugged. He got an excellent channel. I watch him grow, man. He's growing, and I hope he doesn't mind me using this video, but I watch him grow, and he's making some headwaves. He makes a lot of sense, and he puts up excellent videos. But check out this sister, man. I'm gonna go back a little bit and look at this. Watch her crash out, man. And this is a lot of sisters in this country. A lot of sisters in this country crashing out like this. Check it out.
Bro, that's it. I'm tired. I'm fucking tired, bro. I just tried to go donate plasma, but because I just found out I'm homeless because I've been living in a motel for the past year and a half. But because I can't fucking donate. So even the hundred fucking dollars that you give me for the thousands of dollars that you get from the byproduct of my body, I can't even have that. Ah!
Look at that, man. You got millions of black women and black men who feel this way, but the woman is the weaker vessel, so it hits her differently. And you can tell when someone is depressed. Look at that. Look how unorganized that house is, man, or that hotel room she's staying in is. Look how unorganized it is. When people get depressed, they don't clean up. They disorderly. They don't clean up, and they don't take care of themselves. They eat whatever just to feel satisfied. In other words, in order to quench that hunger or that thirst, they'll just put anything in their bodies just to get by. Anything in their bodies. Then they abuse themselves with alcohol and drugs. I'm not saying this sister is doing that, but this is what happens. They abuse themselves with alcohol and drugs, and they don't clean up. I've met quite a few women, and when I go to their homes, they make a good impression. They might tidy up then, but when they get comfortable, they don't clean up. They don't clean up because these are signs of not being disciplined. And there's an old saying, I don't know who said it. I don't know if it's Socrates or we know it is a Roman philosopher, actually. Marcus Aurelius. He said, the undisciplined life is the insane life. And that, when I first heard that quote, it struck me, because that is so true. To be undisciplined and not focus and not have a plan is an insane life, because you don't know where you're going. You're going to be all over the place, and eventually you will crash out like this sister. And she's saying she didn't realize she was homeless. She's been living in this hotel room for over a year, and she didn't realize she was homeless until she was denied money for plasma. How can you be in a rat trap of a hotel and not acknowledge that you're homeless until a system tells you you're homeless? The same system that you have made your God. The same system that you have made your God and you believe in, instead of the real and true and living God, who can take her out of this position, who can lift her up. It took the system, not God, not a brother or sister who's inspired by God. The system had to hit her in her head for her to realize that she is a homeless woman. Look at her hair. Look at that mess, that wreck behind her. Look at her spirit. Boy, I'm telling you, when this thing hits, when this very system that people worship and believe in falls and crash, you are going to see an outcry of anguish and pain. Look up that word, anguish. Anguish is different from suffering. Anguish is different from sad. Anguish is that next level when you hit rock bottom, man, and there's nothing left to grab onto. And the Lord said in our book that we believe in, that in their pain and suffering, they're going to seek him early. Not exactly like that, but that's what's going to happen. They're going to seek him early. You understand? Because there's nothing wrong with getting money. It's when you love the money and you put that above everything, that's when it's a problem. That's when it's a problem. The most famous scriptures on that subject is 1 Timothy 6 and 10. It says 1 Timothy 6 and 10 is often quoted as money is the root Money is the root of all evil, but the actual verse says, for the love of money. You see that? For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. I don't know if that part is correct, but it's true. It says the love of money, and the rappers, they just love money, man. They love money. The football players and the athletes, they love money. The men who run this country, and steal. What do they steal? They steal the money. They stealing the money. They are stealing that money in your face. Look at this Doge thing. A lot of you hate Trump so much that you don't read between the lines and see what's really happening, man. They are stealing that money, including Trump's crew. They've always been stealing the money, and they're putting that out in your face, and you dummies don't even see it. You still stay in the rat race. How you don't see that? All that money going to Israel, they stealing that money. What about the money that went to the Ukraine that wasn't accounted for? They're stealing that money. Meanwhile, a sister like this one, struggling, trying to make ends meet, can't get her head together, can't get out of the system. She don't realize that her God is the very wicked system that is stealing and has its foot on her neck. That has its foot on her neck. It says, for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. This means that it's not money itself that's evil, but the love of money or an excessive desire for wealth. You got people, they live and scheme and plan to be rich in a wicked system. They can't stop scheming and desiring and chasing a love for wealth and success in a wicked system. I watched a video with Charleston White, and they was going back and forth about Michael Jordan and how he would never be invited to a Michael Jordan party. And he came out and he said, do you know how much evil and the things you have to do to be a multi-millionaire in this country? Do you know how much wicked, unlawful sex you have to be successful and be with the multi-millionaires and the billionaires? Do you know how much of your soul you have to give up just to be or rub elbows with wicked men who are filthy, filthy rich and who have bent over spiritually in a sexual position to take it in the behind spiritually and to be nothing but muppets and slaves and damn flunkies for other rich men who are more successful and more powerful than themselves? Do you know what you have to do to be a millionaire in the system? I'm not saying it's impossible to be in God and have millions, but I'm saying if you really think about it, think about all the rich, successful people you see in the media. Think of how much evil they had to do to be successful or be in the positions that they're in today. Think about that. Think of the lust and the desire they had to have in their spirits when it came to wealth. It says right here, an excessive, over the top, too much, an excessive desire for wealth that can lead to various sins and harmful actions. That's straight up on point. That's straight up on point. Because when you're chasing money and you're chasing success and when you're chasing wealth and you're chasing to be with the upper class, and I'm talking about the millionaires in this system, or the actors, or the people who rubbed elbows on Sex Island with Jeff Epstein, or the people who are invited to a P. Diddy party. You got to consider what they have did to get there and what may be required of you to do for you to get to a certain position of evil with them. This is, here's a more detailed breakdown. The love of money. This refers to an excessive all-consuming desire for wealth and possessions. It says is the root of all kinds of is the root of all kinds of evil. This means that this love for money can be the source or cause of many different kinds of wrongdoing. Check that out. This means that the love of money can be the source or cause of many different kinds of wrongdoings. It can lead people to lie, money, and wanting that money, that love of money or success, cheat, steal, harm others, or neglect their responsibilities neglect their responsibilities in pursuit of wealth. So your responsibilities might be your wife, your responsibility might be your children, your responsibility might be your husband. Your main responsibility is to live godly and righteously. You're going to forsake or turn your back on that for wealth or while in the pursuit of wealth, the chase of wealth, in other words. Essentially, the verse is a warning against prioritizing material wealth above all else and highlights the potential of greed to lead to destructive behaviors. Check that out. So I don't know what the sister's problem is or how she ended up where she ended up, but I guarantee you she turned her back on the Most High, like so many of us in the past. And in the future, you're going to see a lot of this among society and and even brothers and sisters who are in the faith. You're going to see this. Money is a hell of a thing, man. It's almost like she's talking to God. It's like I'm not saying she is, but it sounds like she's lashing out against God almost. And sometimes we complain to the Most High. I complain to the Most High sometimes, then I snap the hell out of it. I snap out of it, and I start to realize the little I have is a lot compared to the people who have not. And we have to see things from that perspective. We have to humble ourselves in this world so we can see God better. And a lot of times that's the case. We don't humble ourselves, so we cannot see God. We see the chase and pursuit of riches and wealth and being with the wealthy. We see money and we see fancy cars and we see big homes. We see jewelry. We see the things that people see in the world instead of seeing God. And if we saw God, sometimes we forget God. I'm not saying that this is her case, but it wouldn't surprise me. Look at that. If only she would just turn to God, man. And that's hard. When you're around the wrong things or you're in the world, it's hard to see God. If only she would just turn to the Most High. Look at her face. And when they're like that, they don't want to hear the Bible unless the Most High opens their hearts. But a lot of times when we go, use this as an example toward the next time you're going through something. In the same way she won't see or feel or seek God, consider maybe you have turned from God. Consider that your love of God may have evaporated somewhat. You can kind of see him, but the full image or spirit of God, maybe you have turned away or turned down some of that. And maybe some of the things you're going through is because you don't see the Most High the way you used to see him. Crazy. Oh my God, she said. She don't deserve to be sick. What sin do you think she may have committed that God would make her sick? If God has her in the position that she's in. I believe God does. God does everything. But you can't complain to God and you don't love God. You can't complain to God and you don't do the things of God that God requires of you. Plenty of times the prophets cry out to God, "Oh Lord, why have thou forsaken me?" And that wasn't the case. Sometimes the Lord is just leading you somewhere when he's kicking you in your ass. Can't go through all of them because I got to go back to work, but just crossed my mind when I was checking this out. Check this one out. They go with money again. These are retirees coming back to work. I've seen it on the job where I work at. Retirees coming back to work. This is, you know what this means? That these people are going to die working. They're not going to have any time. At least you would expect 20 years, 15 years just to live in retirement and do nothing but enjoy your last remaining days on this earth serving God and being blessed. But these are people who perhaps have lost God in their hearts and are working when they should be retired. 60 and 70-year-old people who should be retired. They look like hell when they were on the job. And a lot of this is because of mismanagement of money, one. Two, you may have grandchildren that can't take care of themselves. So now you have to take care of them and their parents, which would be your children. So you're taking care of your children and your grandchildren. Then if you're a man and you're a horny, wicked bastard, you got a young girl pregnant. So she puts you on child support in your old age. In your old age. So now you're taking care of more children when you should be retired, when your own children are grown. When your own children are grown, you're doing the same thing all over again. What kind of life is that? What kind of life is that? Who lives like that? I mean, bad things happen, but poor management of your money, poor management of your decisions, or decisions that are based on the flesh and not spirituality can put you in this place. Check it out.
And hurts my back, and they 70 years old doing this, it broke my heart because, and I didn't ever ask, but you overhear conversations and they tell people all the time they can't afford to retire. The retirement age used to be 65 years old, 63 to 65. Now they 70 to 80 working. And then you've got young people my age, who are literally taking everything in their savings account or taking their last two paychecks, leaving these jobs and stepping out on faith because there's no reason. These jobs are just out of control.
I tell these young dudes come on a job, or they'll get a good job, a government job or a federal job, and they quit the job. They say they don't like the supervisor, they don't like their coworkers, they don't like that they have to be at work all the time, they don't like that they only get a few days off. And I tell them, you're making a very bad mistake. You're making a very bad mistake because at some point the system is going to be so bad, you won't be able to find a job in a Walmart. You won't be able to find a job in a Burger King. Remember when the COVID hit and you had people who once had great jobs and they lost their jobs? And they were working at fast food joints. Remember the crash of 2008? You had people who had great jobs. They were let go from their jobs and they were working jobs that children would work. You see grown adults serving burgers at Burger King and McDonald's or a fast food joint. I mean, when I got let go in 2028, I was bouncing and I saw a coworker and he could tell by my body language I felt funny talking with him. And he said, "Yo, just chill." He said he does whatever job he's doing, and his sister, she's a barmaid. We all lost our jobs. That firm it folded. So I'm telling you, man, don't count where the Most High has you as nothing. Don't take for granted what the Most High has given you, because this money will dry up. And economic times is not just hitting the young people, but it's hitting the old people. I'm showing you that right here. Look at your parents. Are they in good shape? Do they look happy? Do you see life in their eyes? Are they retiring with a smile on their face? Or do they look depressed and upset? Or the hard times, has it crossed their threshold? Are they taking care of grandbabies for their daughters and sons?
They firing folks for the silliest stuff, and all it is, they don't have the money to pay everybody on the payroll, so they start to nitpick. And then they wonder why most people are going into business for themselves, because who wants to be told by some random person who don't do the job that they do? You give a job all these years of your life.
Now, forget going into work for yourselves. This is why people are picking up those AKs and those Glocks and firing on people on these different jobs out of frustration and anger. And she's 100% right, because even where I work at, they're nitpicking on different things to get people fired, to bring in a new wave of younger people who will work for pennies on the dollar. They know what they're doing. This is why they're trying to increase the retirement age from 65 to 67. If they haven't done that already, I heard they did. These are some wicked devil bastards that run this country and the world. I'm telling you. Check it out. Now, so we went from the younger people trying to make ends meet to the retirees who can't stay on a job. I'm kind of rushing through this. So we went to the retirees. Now, what about the children who graduate college and moving and now they're moving back home with mommy and daddy? Check this one out. Check it out.
Remember when young people used to rent a moving truck and move into their first apartment? Well, nowadays, because of student debt and high housing costs, many young adults say they have no choice but to move back home.
Grad student Aaliyah Barber isn't showing off a new apartment in her TikTok videos.
I live at home in my 20s. Of course I don't pay rent.
She's back with mom and dad, joining thousands of other young adults who are posting online about what it's like to live at home as an adult.
It was just a better option for me to move home and save money.
Those savings add up.
Thousands and thousands of dollars, considering moving fees as far as like first month's rent to last month's rent, and then utilities, groceries, new furniture.
Aaliyah's experience isn't out of the ordinary. According to a recent USA Today survey, 65% of parents give their adult children some kind of financial support.
65%. 65% are supporting their children who are supposed to be on their own. These could be retirees. These could be retirees who went back to work, like I gave you an example earlier of certain retirees who are taking care of grandchildren or their own children, or they had children in an old age. 65%. And it's growing. It's going to grow. This video is a year old.
On average, worth $718 a month.
The biggest contributing factor to that, really by far, is just the kind of the blunt economics of it.
Matt Lundquist is a psychotherapist who sees many clients living at home because their salary hasn't kept up with the soaring cost of housing.
It's a really tricky setup. Conflict is a pretty inevitable part of it.
Matt says it's important for parents to consider their own financial reality and their child's, then communicate often.
Talking about money, talking about timelines, talking about what ifs, being really transparent, and maybe even bringing a level of formality.
Next, set boundaries on both sides.
If I'm living at home, I got to do my own laundry, and you got to not worry about when I'm coming home because I'm an adult.
Aaliyah admits it feels like being back in high school, but says she and her parents value each other's privacy.
I mean, this sucks, man. There is no real life today, man. It absolutely sucks in this world today. And eventually, it's going to hit rock bottom. America has not been kicked in our ass severely ever, man. Ever. And we're getting close to that time. But I'm just simply saying that money is a major factor in how people think. And I'm going to mention that every once in a while per video, man, because I know that people worship their money. They worship their money. There's nothing wrong with money. There's nothing wrong with money. It's the love of money or that pursuit of money That's the problem when you forget God. It says in reference to Ecclesiastes in the Bible, 7:12, money's a defense. It says that the verse money is a defense comes from Ecclesiastes 7 verse 12 in the Bible, which states, for wisdom is a defense, which is true, and money is a defense. So both are defenses. Both protect you. Both are good. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Not the money, but wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Money can make a better life for you if you have the wisdom of God and you're a righteous man, but ultimately, wisdom gives life to them that have it. This verse highlights that both wisdom and money can offer protection and security, but wisdom is ultimately superior because it leads to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. You can't get around that. Wisdom in God trumps everything. With wisdom, you're gonna know how to spend your money. With wisdom, you're not gonna fall into love with your money. With wisdom, you're gonna know how to spend your money. With wisdom, you're gonna know how to budget your money. With wisdom, you're gonna know how to build a church to show people that wisdom is above money. With wisdom, you're gonna know how to take care of yourself. With wisdom, you're gonna have better health. Which the young lady, she was complaining about her health. If she had the wisdom of God, she would not be going through that. If brothers and sisters had the wisdom of God, they wouldn't get STDs or STIs. They'd be good. If you had the wisdom of God, you wouldn't believe in the system. You would be outside of the system, making a way to survive and make ends meet outside of the system while serving God, while serving Christ, while serving the Most High Yahweh, while serving Yahweh Shai, who in ignorance the people call Christ. Wisdom is it, man. So here's a more detailed breakdown. For wisdom is a defense. This part emphasizes the protective nature of wisdom, according to the Bible commentaries. Wisdom helps the individual make sound decisions, avoid potential dangers, which I was going into a little while ago, and navigate life's challenges, thus acting as a shield against adversity. And money is a defense. Money, while not as powerful as wisdom, can still provide security and protection. It allows one to afford necessities, healthcare, and potentially escape difficult situations, which is on point. But if you're an idiot and you're outside of the spirit of the Most High and you just chase the money and you're ignorant with the money and you don't have the Most High's wisdom, it's no wonder you're gonna go through what this sister's going through. Do you get what I'm going? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get it? Do you get it? Again, unbelievable, unbelievable. Check it one more before I go back to work. Sorry about this. I'm gonna choose wisdom, and I know it's hard. It's difficult not to be a damn idiot at times while serving the Most High, but you don't have to go out like a lot of these people. Check it out.
Spent my whole fucking day off trying to find a, more affordable place to live because I can't afford fucking $1,300 a month in rent and then fucking a $650 car note and then $300 in fucking insurance and then you got utilities and it's either I eat or I pay my bills and then even then it's like, okay, well, which bill's gonna be fucking late this month? And I'm so fucking sick of it. Like all these fucking apartment complexes and realtors and even private renters, fuck you so fucking hard.
I read an article. What was it 3 weeks ago that people are not paying back their bills? They said to hell with it. The system is bad. Trump is bad. The migrant situation is bad. War is bad. I'm not going to pay back anything. They can't put everybody in jail. They can't garnish everyone's paychecks. They can make examples and instill fear in other people, but they can't get everybody. So F it. Be wise, people. Get off your high horse. Stop living above your means. Follow God and the commandments. Make Christ your blueprint and be righteous as much as you're as much as you can, and grow. Don't compete with other people and don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Compete with yourself, who you were yesterday or last week or last month. In other words, do better than you did last week or last year, last month, last week, whatever the case may be. Because this situation is going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's going to get a lot worse. Remember I said it. Because everybody's going through it, man. Trump is not going to save the day. Not going to save the day. But I will say that out of all the wicked presidents, out of all the demons and devils that have been in a position of a presidency or president, he's the best. He's the best. Because what he's trying to do, he's trying to bring back white power back to America. When the good old days, when the white man was comfortable in America, he's trying to bring that back. And he's doing a hell of a job at it. But God is superior and God will knock him down. The same way God hardened Pharaoh's heart, he will knock this man down, and we'll see what happens from there. But while he's president, and if there's a next president, be smart. Be very smart. And don't be like your foolish brothers and sisters in this country or on this earth. Be very smart. I'm out.